There are a few things about bulking up and gaining muscle that most people don't talk about. For example, some supplements can actually lead to hair loss, and many aren't aware that taking breaks from the gym can help you build more muscle than constantly training. Also, using pre-workout supplements too often can make them less effective over time. These are just a couple of things that no one really tells you about building muscle. Today, I'll go over 9 things that you should definitely know to build more muscle and avoid common mistakes. The first thing most people don't realize is that if you build a significant amount of muscle, you'll often be labeled and stereotyped in certain ways. For example, it's common for natural bodybuilders or even some less muscular models to be accused of using steroids when they've never even considered it. These accusations usually come from people who either lack experience, don't train hard enough, or simply don't have the best genetics. They struggle to believe that someone can reach a higher genetic potential without resorting to steroids. Another common misconception when you gain muscle is that people may assume you're less intelligent. We've all heard the saying, all muscle, no brain, but that's simply not true. Some of the smartest people I know are exercise scientists with plenty of muscle. However, that doesn't stop others from making this assumption, especially if they don't understand it. At the end of the day, who cares what others think? It's just something most people don't realize until it happens to them. Most of the people making these judgments simply don't understand what they're talking about. Another thing that's not commonly shared is that while protein shakes and protein bars can be convenient, they're not ideal for building muscle. Whole meals with real food are far better options. Even though protein bars and shakes can provide the same macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, you won't get the same micronutrients that you would from a balanced meal. Evidence shows that these micronutrients are crucial for muscle growth. For example, zinc plays a key role in regulating testosterone, and calcium is essential not only for strong bones, but also for muscle contractions. So always aim for a full meal over relying on supplements or protein bars. There are plenty of quick and easy protein-rich meals like hard-boiled eggs, tuna, and Greek yogurt that count as whole foods instead of supplements. Another important point that's often overlooked is that if you want to see the best muscle growth results, you should aim to eat more whole food meals, ideally at least 4 meals a day. This is more than most people are used to, but research shows you'll get better muscle building results by spreading your protein intake across at least 4 meals. This means you'll have to focus on meal prepping and carrying your meals with you, and you'll also need to find ways to eat more frequently than most people do. For example, you might have a typical 1-hour lunch break at work, but what if you need to eat 2 meals during that time? Or what if you're traveling or at a party? If you're serious about muscle growth, it's a lot harder than it seems to get all your meals in. You'll need to get creative about fitting in your 4 or more meals. Maybe you'll rely on a protein shake or bar for one of your meals, but you definitely can't rely on them for every meal. This advice is for those looking to build muscle optimally. While you can still fast and build muscle, it won't create the best conditions for muscle growth. Another thing that most people don't talk about when building muscle is the feeling of being overly full. When cutting calories, the challenge is often dealing with hunger. However, when building muscle, the challenge is more about feeling stuffed. This can happen when you're constantly eating more calories than you need to maintain your weight, which is what a calorie surplus is. Eventually, you just won't want to eat because you're still full from your last meal, or even the last few meals. When you're in a calorie deficit, even bland meals like chicken breast seem more appealing because you're hungry. But when you're eating a surplus to build muscle, you'll feel like you're forcing yourself to eat that chicken breast. This is something you'll have to adjust to. Just like how you adjust to the hunger you experience while in a calorie deficit, you'll need to go against your natural instincts. There's a reason why sharks are fed before scuba divers enter their tank. Their instinct is to stop eating once they're full, even if something delicious swims right in front of them. You, however, will need to fight that instinct, and doing this consistently, day after day, is much harder than it seems. The next thing many people don't initially realize is that lifting weights alone won't take you all the way when it comes to building muscle. When you first start working out, your diet can be all over the place, yet you'll still gain muscle due to something called newbie gains. Unfortunately, this phase doesn't last long. Once you move past that beginner stage and your body adjusts, you won't be able to build much more muscle without a proper diet. Lifting weights on its own won't be enough if you're serious about muscle growth. The most important thing you need to focus on is getting enough protein. Aim for about 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. You should also ensure you're eating enough carbohydrates and fats alongside that protein to create a calorie surplus. To gain muscle, you only need a small calorie surplus, about a 10% increase above your maintenance calories. After hitting your protein goals, you can split the remaining calories between carbs and fats, however you prefer. However, just like it's tough to maintain a calorie deficit, keeping a consistent calorie surplus can also be challenging. Next, let's address the idea that creatine causes hair loss. Although there's some evidence to support this theory, it's likely untrue. The theory behind it is that creatine can increase DHT and other male hormones, which contribute to male pattern baldness. To be clear, there is actual research showing that creatine might increase DHT. One study involved 20 college-aged rugby players who either took creatine or a placebo. The results showed that testosterone levels didn't change in either group, but the group taking creatine had a 56% increase in DHT, which remained 40% above baseline even 14 days later. As a result, many people, including myself, began to question if creatine could actually cause hair loss. While it's possible, it's also highly unlikely. This is because 10 randomized controlled trials have found that creatine supplementation has no effect on testosterone, which is important because free testosterone is a precursor to DHT. Without more free testosterone, it's difficult to produce more DHT. Additionally, in the rugby player study, even though there was an increase in DHT, the levels stayed well within the normal range. So even if creatine somehow increases DHT, it still might not lead to more hair loss than what would happen naturally if male pattern baldness runs in your family. The next important point is that muscle grows while you rest. Surprisingly, many people overlook this. They may have heard that muscle grows at rest, but don't structure their workout or sleep schedule to match it. Rest and sleep are just as crucial as working out and eating for muscle growth. Many people work out hard and eat well but only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, which is detrimental to muscle growth. Besides sleep, you also need adequate recovery from lifting weights. Working out 7 days a week can prevent proper rest. The more intense your workouts, the more rest you need. If you're lifting heavy and training hard, you shouldn't be at the gym more than 5 or 6 days a week. A good strategy is to split your routine into chest and back one day, legs the next, and shoulders, arms, and abs on the third day. Then take a rest day. This rest after each full cycle helps more than you think. Another point that's not often discussed is that taking extra time off can actually help you build muscle and get stronger. Many people think they must work out hard every week, but taking a full week off allows your body to fully recover, often leading to greater strength when you return. If you like this video, hit a subscribe button. Thank you.